Hey. Ha. Or it be like the intro. I don't do one word self. I don't do one word chat. I don't do one word chat. W no do all my GH people in the chat. Yeah, I understand. Bam. Representing. Bam. Charlie, we can start with the anthem like we did yesterday. But let's get straight into it. How much said guys? So just tune in and welcome. I set things up and then get straight into action. Mic check. Hope they look good. Yo, Charlie, the streaming, it be so annoying waiting for the streaming time because, like, bro, it's just 5 hours I get to do this thing and then I need to wait 20 whole hours. You know, it's 24 hours in a day and midnight, it be only 5 hours. So we wait 5 hours. Bro, it's crazy sometimes wait. Like, anytime the stream started, I'm like, finally, bro. God damn. We finally start. Uh, hey, we back on it, though. That be all with the man. Why the stream, though? Play some video then. Those are the one play some music. I won't play the national anthem then, Charlie. We start and write like we did yesterday. Start and write. I think just the load. Forever. Hello. Are we good? Are we good? Chat. Yeah. Happy birthday, all my Ghanaians in the chat, all my fellow Ghanaians. But if you can hear my voice and see me, clear, happy 69th birthday to all of you. You know, happy Independence precisely to all Ghanaians worldwide and country wherever you're watching from. But appreciate you tapping in, supporting the journey from day one, all that, But today we are celebrating the motherland. There we did dive deep. Yesterday, I won't make it slow. I just decided to, I just decided to call it. Let's see how tonight goes. Let's see how tonight goes. Let's be lucky each other. Plus, make us start time again. Make us start time again. Charlie, I don't get a Ghana jersey. Like I said, I don't get that thing. Bro, this is where space they go up. Since in Ghana, the prices just they go up. Except like food stuff. Stuff there, the prices still dey the same, but stuff like the jersey most importantly then, especially the yellow jersey, bro. Bro, so I just find one of my old top where they resemble the jersey. They go have kind of, don't get a green, the green no plenty for inside, but the let me know where you're watching from. We back on our BS. We back on our BS. Make sure you share the stream for me. I failed to put the links on IG and stuff like that because, like I said, we will waste the whole 20 hours just to make this thing happen for 5 hours. Sometimes it be annoying, so let's just go straight into it. I'll put the links there right whilst I'm active. Yeah, let's go. Attention. Let's start again. 10 from Philip the Hook, all 3 stanzas, live and Khaled get it right now. In shot. Let's go. We are on YouTube and on Twitch right now, so the swear words I need to keep you know. Try and remind me, chat. Try and remind me. And one thing too, I will even watch the chat set, so while we are streaming, just bear in mind, bro. If I'm not seeing the chat or if I'm not doing anything. That's why we have TTS now. So try and points. I've not set up donation with that. Just need channel points. So the more active you are on the channel, like watching and liking, sharing the stream, just showing love and see the chat like that. So just type it and then I'll get you. Make a try since I will see the chat. I'll be trying from time to time, but for the majority part of the stream, I'll be disconnected from the because anytime I connect, it F's up the stream. You understand? But yeah, the day coming tomorrow, so no, my voice is low. I don't know where my. But yeah, some people I know say more people make ready for tomorrow, so make preparations. So if you're outside watching me right now, and maybe if you are not a Ghanaian too, let me know what I am. You understand what I mean? So we are going to dissect and interject and intersect. Like yesterday, we started doing with a video. We were still going to mic check, mic check. Are we active? I see the chat. No one is in the chat yet. No one is in the chat yet. Okay, voila. Then streaming it starts slow, but make we keep on pushing charts. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. The internet self no be stable, bro. So that be another downside. But while I'm coming let me fix one or two things and then let me switch my screen.
Imagine conducting every part of your research only on one platform. 70 million papers, 140,000.
Let me skip this.
It's down to involve the African.
So it be this video now we watch yesterday. May we continue chat. Make we continue because I want to understand truly how the world sees like Ghana. If you see Ghana, how our Western brothers see that.
Nextford allows me to learn 100% online.
We see us like we are so men living in the jungle and stuff like that. So he came to do this before. Now it's like okay, now people have a fair idea of like what actually goes on. Even like if you know be this speed and so I'm not gonna say you full self come off from the Africa. Don't worry. We're going to see the history because we learned some in school, yes. Like that's because there's some stuff that even the school do not tell you. It's like you need to unless you hear from those people their own to make you listen. This is the history
of Ghana in 10 minutes. Welcome to Explore and thanks for watching. As you all know, it is always a pleasure presenting to you the beautiful countries of Africa. In today's video, we are looking at the history of Ghana in 10 minutes. The Republic of Ghana is named after the medieval West African Ghana Empire. The empire became known
according to what he's saying. Not the Ghana we know now, but like GAAN, Ghana was called the Ghana Empire. And then the Gold Coast took the Ghana name from the Ghana
Empire after the title of its emperor, the Ghana. The empire appears to have broken up following the 1076 conquest and controlled territories in the area of the Senegal River and east towards the Niger rivers in modern Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali. Ghana is today known as the Gold Coast of Africa, and the history of this great African nation is an important part of its present and future. Hence, without much ado, here is the history of Ghana in 10 minutes. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our uploads. Little is known of the small African kingdoms in the region between the Tano and Volta rivers until the arrival of Europeans in the 15th century. Portuguese navigators walking their way down the West African coast reached this area in 1471 and built a fortress at Elmina in 1482. But others follow fast. As early as 1492, a French buccaneer marauding off the coast deprives the Portuguese becomes the European name for this part of Africa. The trade in gold with the Europeans makes possible the development in the early 17th century of Akwamo, the first African state to control an extensive part of the coast. During the 18th century, the dominance of Akwamo is replaced by that of a much powerful group, the Ashanti, with their capital inland at Kumasi. By this time, the British, Dutch, and Danes are the main European traders of this part of the coast, and the most valuable commodity for export was not gold but slaves. Trading slaves for Muscat throned on a traditional golden stool holds sway over the entire central region of modern Ghana. But the Ashanti suffered a series of major blows between 1804 and 1814 when the Danes, British, and Dutch each in turn outlawed the slave trade. The result in 1874, a British army briefly occupies Kumasi. Meanwhile, in the coastal regions, the British are gradually emerging as the main European power. The Danish fortresses, including the impressive Christiansborg Castle in Accra, are bought by the British government in 1850. The last Dutch merchants abandoned the coast in 1870 Gold Coast. But it takes another 3 decades before the Ashanti Kingdom and its dependencies in 1802, Ashanti is declared a British Crown colony. The regions further north become at the same time the protectorate of the Northern Territories of the Gold Coast. The colonial years are relatively prosperous and untroubled. At first, little is done to involve the African population in the political processes of the colony. But in the years immediately after World War II, events move so fast that the Gold Coast becomes the first colony in sub-Saharan Africa to win its independence.
Wow. Oh, actually going.
Nkrumah is invited back to the Gold Coast to become General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, an organization campaigning for self-government. The UGCC has won the right in 1946 for an African majority in the colony's legislative assembly, but the fight is now on for a share in executive power. Nkrumah rapidly extends the movement's popular base, with the result that there are widespread riots in February 1948. The older UGCC leaders are alarmed by this and by their brief arrest with Nkrumah. A split within the UGCC has won the right in 1946 for an African majority in the colony's legislative as the movement's popular base, with the result that there are widespread riots in February 1948. The older UGCC leaders are alarmed by this and by their brief arrest with Nkrumah. A split within the movement leads to Nkrumah founding in June 1949 the Convention People's Party, committed to immediate self-government. From January 1950, Nkrumah organizes a campaign of non-violent protests and strikes, which lands him back in jail. But in the colony's first general election in February 1951, the CPP wins convincingly even in the absence of its leader. Nkrumah is released from prison to join the government, and in 1952, he becomes with the Gold Coast. It is therefore a slightly extended territory which becomes independent in 1957 under Nkrumah's leadership. A new name of great resonance in African history is adapted. Ghana, although the ancient kingdom of that name was far north in present-day Mali. Nkrumah, well aware of his status at the head of the first West African nation to merge Ghana's short history, but the nation remains true to the hope of democracy. In 4 decades, Ghana establishes as many new republics. A general election launching the Second Republic in 1969 brings to power Kofi Busia, a university professor with a long track record in Ghanaian politics as an opponent of Nkrumah. But he is unable to improve Ghana's economic performances, which had been weakened by low cocoa prices, and thus he is removed by military officers in 1972. For a few years from 1972, a military regime rules with repressive brutality under the successive leadership of 2 generals, Ignatius Champong and Frederick Akufo. But by the year 1979, a group of younger officers have had enough. Led by Jerry Rawlings, a flight lieutenant in the Air Force, they take power and Champong and Akufo are executed. Ignatius Champong and Frederick Akufo. But by the year 1979, member was charged to draw up a draft constitution to establish a 4th republic.
Here's the thing about women and flirting that every man needs to know, especially you. The way women flirt is totally
using PNDC proposals. The PNDC accepted the final product without revision, and it was put to a national referendum on 28 April 1992, in which it received 92% approval. On the 18th of May 1992, the ban on party politics was lifted in preparation for multi-party elections. The PNDC and its supporters formed a new party, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, to contest the elections. Presidential into force on 7 January 1993 to found the Fourth Republic. On that day, Rawlings was inaugurated as president and members of the parliament swore their oaths of office. In 1996, the opposition fully contested the presidential and parliamentary elections, which were described as peaceful, free, and transparent by domestic and international observers. Rawlings was re-elected with 57% of the popular vote. In addition, Rawlings' NDC party won 133 of the parliament's 200 seats, just one seat short of the two-thirds majority needed to amend the constitution, although the election returns of 2 parliamentary seats faced legal challenges. The Third Republic in 1979 lasted only 2 years before Rawlings and his fellow officers intervened again. After his second coup, Rawlings takes personal power, ruling through a provisional National Defense Council, which has a specific brief to organize a renewal of the nation's political. The 1990s demonstrates that he has popular approval as well. In the prevailing fashion for multi-party democracy, Ghana holds elections in 1992 in preparation for its Fourth Republic. Rawlings transforms his ruling council into a political party, the National Democratic Congress, NDC. The NDC wins nearly all seats in parliament and Rawlings is elected president, but only 29% of the electorate vote and most of the opposition parties boycotts the election. Hence, the 1992 results can hardly be taken as a popular mandate. However, elections in 1996 at the end of the 4-year term are altogether more significant. There are other presidential candidates, at least one of them enjoying wide support. Yet Rawlings astonishes observers by winning 57% of the vote to his nearest rival's 40%, and the NDC retains its absolute majority in parliament. After 2 terms as an elected president leader, John Kufuor, in the presidential election of 2000, Jerry Rawlings endorsed his vice president's election and became the president on 7th January 2001. The vice president was Aliu Mahama. The presidential election of 2000 was viewed as free and fair. Kufuor won another term.
John Dramani Mahama. Is it Aliu Mahama? Aliu de part of, or maybe I'm lost. Let me chat. Aliu, hey, also, I mean, they praise you right now. No, if you want, can't see you. So I praised him too early. Well, okay, I think he's losing the.
The presidential election of 2000 was viewed as free and fair. Kufuor won another term and saw several social reforms, such as the reform in the system of national health insurance of Ghana in 2003. In 2005, saw the suffered a shocking blow when their president died. Power was then given to his vice president, John Dramani Mahama. He chose the then governor of the Bank of Ghana, Kwesi Amisa Athu, as his vice. The National Democratic Congress won the 2012 election, making John Mahama rule again, his first term. John Atta Mills was sworn in as president on 7th January 2009 in a peaceful transition after Kufuor was narrowly defeated. The Gold Coast is currently ruled by Nana Akufo-Addo, who is leading the beautiful African giants to new heights. There you have it, explorers. That was the history of Ghana in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching.
Nice history though, but please, this is not currently. This is 5 years ago. Okay. So that was then that it was current, but please.
Day 1957 on it. Wait, so Ghana didn't exist before 1957?
I love how observant and intelligent you all are.
Wow.
Ghana used to be called the Gold Coast. On 6 March 1957, the Gold Coast officially became known as Ghana.
It was 60 years ago.
Brilliant question. Let's find out more about what Independence Day was like in 1957. Actually, it was a whole week of celebrations marking very important events.
A whole week?
People traveled to Accra from places all over Ghana. Some by train, some by bus or wagon, and the Vice President of Liberia, William Talbot. In the days leading up to the long-awaited 6th March, there were Thanksgiving services, special dinners, large parades with floats that attracted large crowds, and important meetings and tours.
Oh, wow.
People had looked forward to this week since the news of independence was first broadcasted on the 8:56 meetings and tours. People had looked forward to this week since the news of independence was first broadcasted on the 18th, displayed on floats and newspaper headlines. The newly designed Ghana flag lined the streets and hallways. The flag was designed by a woman called Theodosia Oko. Each color and symbol was carefully chosen. Red depicted the struggle for independence, gold, and the black star symbolizing African freedom and unity.
Amen.
The celebrations continued. Some very interesting events took place, like canoe races known as the Accra Regatta, and lots of other contests, like hair braiding contests, as well as a Miss Ghana competition.
Oh, Miss Ghana.
The 5th of March, the eve of independence, was a very special day. Near the Christiansborg crossroads, the Independence Arch was unveiled. The arch was beautifully lit up in the night sky, and on it, the crowd of onlookers read, "Freedom and Justice, AD 1957. Close by in the Assembly building, Nkrumah, supported by his ministers, gave a speech of freedom. As the clock struck midnight, the Union Jack was lowered forever, and in its place, the Ghana flag was raised. Shouts of joy filled the night. Kwame Nkrumah, along with some of his ministers, mounted the podium and he spoke to the crowd saying, "At long last, the battle has ended, and thus Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever." As far the white caps with the words PG on them were prison caps, showing the difficulties faced on the journey to independence, including the imprisonment of the Big Six, the Independence Night Independence celebration, a prayer, and a minute of silence. A new opening of Parliament marked the official transfer of power. The Duchess of Kent, the representative of the Queen of England, in the presence of many great Ghanaian leaders, spoke at the first Parliament of Ghana saying, "My government in the United Kingdom has ceased from today to have any authority in Ghana." Kwame Nkrumah's famous drive from the state opening of Parliament to the crowds in New Africa is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing
his own affair.
On the evening of 6th March, parties were held all over Ghana. At the state reception and ball in Accra, the dance between Kwame Nkrumah and the Duchess of Kent showed that the Ghanaian government was willing to establish and maintain a good went beyond the borders of Ghana. Ghanaians around the world also celebrated Ghana's independence in places like London and New York. People were excited about Ghana's future and were inspired by Kwame Nkrumah's words shared during his midnight speech. "We have awakened. We will not sleep anymore. Today, from now on, there's a new African in the world."
I think I finally understand the line, "Help us to resist oppressors' rule." The battle to freedom and independence was not easy, and Ghana wasn't free to make its own decisions before 1957. Red stripe in our Ghana flag. It helps us to remember the
of many other African nations. It also inspired civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King. The black star on our flag and places like the Independence Arch is a symbol of African freedom.
Yay, freedom! God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Oh, before we go home for the holiday, just as you pointed out the importance of the red stripe on the Ghana flag, we should also pay attention to the yellow and green stripes. A reminder for all of us.
We are Wonder Space Explorers. We will look after our environment and cherish our wonderful resources.
Wonderful!
It'll be this one we watch.
Register for free. Choose from over 200,000 vehicles online. Get your car straight from the USA and Canada.
In the year 1957, Gold Coast, a West African general Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But before Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, before 1957, before the Gold Coast, the name Ghana had already existed in the past. The Gold Coast was a part of the old Ghana Empire, also known as Ouagadougou in West Africa. It included modern-day Mali, Mauritania, and some regions of Senegal during the 4th to 13th century. Its capital was called Kumbisale, and it was not located in the same modern-day Ghana. The old Ghana Empire was a really powerful empire and known for its wealth because of the abundance of gold it was blessed with. It was known for trading gold, and it had a very strong central government and a really strong army. The rulers of the empire were called Ghana. The word Ghana is believed to mean warrior king. Some historians also say it moved. The empire was called Ghana because its enemies and allies started referring to the region Ghana. During the 11th century, the old Ghana Empire became Gold Coast. Fast forward, in the year 1471, the Portuguese became the first European country to discover the Gold Coast, which was blessed with abundance of gold, and they, being overwhelmed with that sort of riches in gold, initially decided to name the region Mina, which means mines. The Portuguese came to meet different kingdoms and clans on the land, which were in charge of the vast deposits of gold. They traded with and conquered some of the smaller clans and took control. They later came to settle permanently on the continent in the year 1483, so they could be able to expand their trading activities. Successful trade of the Portuguese and how they were acquiring a lot of gold and slaves spread quickly to the other European countries, and soon time where European countries began to explore the region and engage in slave trade. Soon they began to send slaves to the Caribbean and the Americas, and they became heavily involved in the slave trade. A royal trading company was then established in 1752 by the British, which still included the other European countries, but the British later bought the part of the Gold Coast which belonged to the by Commander Henry Wolseley Hill at Formina Adanse on Fanti.
This is what we got, Madam. My JHS, Madam Catherine. Hey, social studies. Hey, this name was Commander Wesley Hill. Hey,
1844. This bond was signed between the Fanti chiefs and the British, represented by Commander Henry Wolseley Hill at Formina Adanse.
Then she shouts the name. Then she be like, "Say the name after me, Commander Wolseley."
Hey, Fanti land. This agreement was the British then went on to expand their territories by conquering bigger and stronger kingdoms, including the Ashanti Kingdom. The Ashanti Kingdom had controlled most of the Gold Coast, which wasn't occupied by the British, and they were often in conflict with the British, who were often backed by the Fantis and fought several wars known as the Four Anglo-Ashanti Wars, which led to the defeat of the Ashanti Kingdom from 1895 to 1896. After the Ashantis had been under the rule of the British for some time, there was a Fifth War, which was an uprising by the Ashantis against the British, popularly known as the Yar Santua War, fought in 19 Ashantis, the brave, or eventually, and colonized the kingdom, lasted from 1895 to 1896. After the Ashantis had been under the rule of the British for some time, fought in 1900. This war was led by a female Ashanti warrior known as Yar Santua. She led the Ashanti Army rebellion against the British, and it was the war over the Golden Stool which the British were once again Ashanti Kingdom. The complete colonization of the Gold Coast by the British started from 1901, and it lasted for. They had total control, and the people of the Gold Coast had no say at all in the governance of their own land and own people. And it continued like that until the 1940s, when the great Osagyefo Dr.
If they, back then when they were saying these things in Facebook, like visuals,
in
and then hearing it,
1947,
it's different. Bro.
Kwame Nkrumah had just
But
returned back
obviously, you're
home
not
to the
getting the
Gold
real
Coast.
action that happened, but it's like just the visualization and stuff like it make you the grab and more. So if now I grab the whole story, I say, You have those days, it be textbook. In textbook, you read and then you pass here, come on here. It's like just chew and pour for exam, then that's all.
After traveling to further his education, first total control, and the people of the Gold Coast had no say at all in the governance of their own land and own people. And it continued like that until the 1940s, when the great Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah came into the picture. In 1947,
so apparently after the Portuguese came, then all this, they had the wars with the Ashantis for these 4 times. Then the fifth one, Yaa Asantewaa tried to rebel, and then I think they became free for some time. But so
Kwame
it was
Nkrumah
so
Kwame
it was
Nkrumah had
later
just
in like
returned back home to the Gold
1947.
Coast after traveling to further his education first in the U.S. Lincoln University and University of Pennsylvania. After that, he went to the UK to the London School of Economics. Nkrumah wasn't just highly educated and brave, wanting to free his people from colonial rule and uniting Africa. Nkrumah's Pan-Africanism was inspired by the likes of his mentors, Dr. Aggrey, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Nigeria's first ever president, W.E. Du Bois, and Marcus Garvey, who was a Jamaican political activist. Upon returning to the Gold Coast in 1947, he joined the United Gold Coast Convention, also known as UGCC, which was a political party made up of the local Gold Coast black elite such as Pa Grant, Akua J, and the likes. While the United Gold Coast Convention were just trying to seek constitutional reforms from the British colonial rule and not really seeking independence for the Gold Coast, Nkrumah, on the other hand, being a visionary and a Pan-Africanist, had a different agenda, which was to seek independence from the colonial master entirely. A year after Nkrumah had returned back to the Gold Coast, completely freeing its people from colonial rule, but rather focused on making structural reforms in the governance of the people. It was inevitable that there would soon be a clash between the UGCC and Nkrumah. While the UGCC pushed their agenda through strategic elite politics, Nkrumah resorted to the mass mobilization, etc. He strategically planned his first move that will put him a step ahead towards freedom. He secretly planned a meeting with some World War II veterans of the Gold Coast who had returned back home to the Gold Coast and were having troubles getting employment. They felt the colonial government wasn't doing anything to help them with the issue they were facing. In 1948, during this meeting with the ex-servicemen, a protester called Gerald Christie, on the day of the protest, 3 ex-servicemen were gunned down while protesting, and that agitated the people of the Gold Coast, and there was a massive riot which spread across the whole colony. The 6 leaders of the UGCC were soon arrested after the incident, including Nkrumah, and were put in prison. These
so it be the 6, will be the big 6. You bro, I understand. That's why all these internet babies they grasp
protesting, and that agitated the people of the Gold Coast, and there was a massive riot which spread across the whole colony. The 6 leaders of the UGCC were soon arrested after the incident, including Nkrumah, and were put in prison. These 6 are known as the Big 6. After their arrest, the UGCC leaders were angered by the riots, leading to their arrest, and blamed Nkrumah for inciting the protests and the riots that caused their arrest. The UGCC began to distance themselves from Nkrumah, and Nkrumah on the other hand, independence. Nkrumah's revolution had begun. Nkrumah and the UGCC were all later released from prison that year. Soon in the following, also known as CPP, after breaking away from the UGCC and having masses of the people behind him and supporting strike and positive action. In 1950, Nkrumah was arrested and jailed by the British for inciting these mass protests, boycotts, and strikes by the people of the colony. While in prison, his popularity even grew bigger, and in 1951, the British organized elections which Nkrumah and the CPP won by a big margin while he was still in prison. He was later released by the British and became the leader of government business, which is just a step below the prime minister position. He kept pushing for even more power from the British colonial government by putting even more pressure on them for complete self-governance, using his mass support. In following elections in 1954 and 1956, the CPP won the strong majority of the government. The British, realizing there was nothing they could really do anymore about the situation, they handed complete control to Nkrumah and the CPP, final independence from colonial rule to them, saying, and I quote, "At long last, the battle has ended. Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever." He changed the name from the Gold Coast to Ghana, signifying the rich and powerful heritage it had during the time it was a part of the old Ghana Empire. It was a way to connect modern Africans and Ghanaians to their rich pre-colonial heritage. Later in 1960, after Nkrumah had launched major industrial and educational reforms, built roads, schools, the Akosombo Dam, and other important facilities, he declared Ghana a republic and became the first ever president of Ghana.
Wow. W's, man. W's, Charlie. You got a quick little history thing, you understand? A nice segment, to celebrate the big 6-9 we released. So almost 70 years we Ghana they are like we just come meet spot 20 something of it. So big up all the people waiting inside doing all these times that the wars were happening and stuff. Some too are far gone by now. But those who they are alive, Charlie, big up to them, you understand? So then see the history all the way now. We can't reach away with the Gen Zs. We take out they play like nothing there. Very small. I be so, So let's go. Let's do a quick music break then. When I come back, Charlie. Because the tire started cooking. We are trying to go more hours. Don't worry. We'll talk. To reset the rooms for all. You can download it. Nice react. Yeah. Let me save them down for later and then hey, could have been love too, Hey, in 3 minutes from now, guys, we have a next episode. So, hey, perfect. Let's just take the song to wait. Bro, perfect timing, bro. We could take the song wait. And when I come back now, so we get straight into action.
Damn fake you cooking up.
Yo. Hey. Go. No one cares till you dead and gone. Grab my pen, then I made a song. Pay my fare, draw me for my junction.
Fake you cooking up.
Yo. Hey. Go. No one cares till you dead and gone. Grab my pen, then I made a song. Pay my fare, draw me for my junction.
Damn fake you cooking up.
Yo. Hey. Go. No one cares till you dead and gone. Grab my pen, then I made a song. Pay my fare, draw me for my junction. It's so hard when you try to figure out the path, then invest, do what's right and still gotta wait for long. Who goes there? Don't open the door. Let me know where you coming from. Don't you call my phone. Tryna figure how to build my own. Go straight to business. Don't beat about the bush. Let's just smoking on some kush. No they dissing. No they care. No they care. No one cares.
No. Yeah. You don't.
Yeah. Go.
We go blow.
Blow.
I know say you don't know. But we will know. No, I let the nigga sell his shoes. Now we go.
We go.
I hope you understand the living. We go blow.
We blow.
Now you know.
You know.
I see the moon and star. Feel so shy. Haters don't want to see me shine. Oh, me feel so blessed. Hope you understand. Walking on the street day and night. Feel so blessed to the best. Everything first. You won't start first. Nigga won't first. You won't lose stress. No one cares. Try that first. I call my homie on the SMS. You won't stack money and won't invest. Bless my homie, the one who best. Let him rest.
Cause no one cares. No one cares till you dead and gone.
No.
No one cares till you dead and gone. No they listen. No one cares. No they care. No one cares till you dead and gone.
Yeah. I know say you don't know, but we will know.
We know.
I let a nigga sell his shoes. Now we go.
We go.
I hope you understand the living. We go blow.
We blow.
Now you know.
Yo, we back, chat. Back. Hold on, let me load it on the Kutabin screen. I'll bring it back to my face and make it there on the Kutabin screen. You're just tuning in. Welcome to this Charlie. We're going for 5 hours, bro. 5 hours minimum. Hopefully the stream no cut off. We're still running on the time. We were 1 hour, 10 minutes. Charlie. We still they go. Like that, let's go.
Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Cadbury 3-in-1. One hot chocolate, the treat you deserve.
So they don't f with her out in the public. They like pay her money to keep her quiet. Then when they don't pay her no more money, she goes on the internet and posts pictures of these niggas in her bed, naked, and they be married in relationships. She do everybody like that.
Clearly, real quick, she's a hoe. She's a groupie hoe. She be fucking and sucking for that cash, but honestly, who am I to judge? I do OnlyFans.
Ladies, congratulations for making it this far. It's been a long day, I know, but the night
I know. Yeah, like, where the hell
is still young. As you know, Drewski is a worldwide, a lot. One of those things is he gets paid to go to the club. So tonight, you're going to get to join him at the club. Please be on your best.